I spent I invested $120,000 on one coach, one person, not a mastermind, it was a person. And so far this year, I have 4x'd that investment.
Hey everybody, I want to welcome you to REI podcast. I have a good friend with me today that's taken the time to join us to walk through what he's done, how he's grown inside of the industry. What are we up to? 2,700 flips, over 1,000 students that he currently coaches. And in that process has gone through the tribulations of the industry. I mean, let's sit down and think about it really quickly. Is we all grow and scale, we don't always win. So here's Justin Colby, the man, the myth, the legend, and bringing him into the science of flipping, the top 5 podcasts. I love following you inside of that. No more me talking. Let's go to you talking. So how is that?
Yeah, well, I appreciate you having me, man. I look forward to giving some good value to your tribe.
I appreciate that. So this particular podcast, we are introducing the science of flipping and how does one person get from getting started inside of the industry to grow to the person that you are today. With that, how did you get started? Where did you find the love for real estate?
I got started because I was lucky enough to have a best friend whose dad was a developer. And my best friend said, hey, we should start a real estate brokerage. Well, this was back in 2003. And so you can imagine how good it was until 2008. And in 2008, I lost everything as a realtor. I lost my home to foreclosure. The repo man took my car, sleeping on a couch. But I did love real estate. And that was the thing that I didn't necessarily love being a realtor, but I loved real estate. I understood that real estate could be the vertical that trajects me to where I want to go. And it has, right? And so I stayed committed to real estate. It was something that I was passionate about, but I liked this vertical, which is real estate investing, a whole lot more. And I liked being a realtor. And so as the story goes, I borrowed $25,000 for my first coach. And 17 years later, I've done over 2,700 deals and counting and very active in the real estate space today.
I hit the reset button in 2008 and was like, okay, I'm in transportation and logistics. And I took that path and then came back to real estate. So I really want to talk about coaching inside of this is even as successful as you are right now, do you have coaches?
Of course. So I have a 6-figure year budget for coaching or masterminds and both. In January, as an example, and I know this may not be totally relatable to everybody, but bear with me. I spent I invested $120,000 on one coach, one person, not a mastermind, it was a person. And so far this year, I have 4x'd that investment from a couple things that he's helped me with. And so what I'll tell you is, regardless of where you're at in business, there's always a table you want to be sitting at that you're not, a person who's done something you haven't, and all those different kind of examples that no matter where you are in your career, you should be having a mentor, tribe, a group, a mastermind that can propel you into a further stratosphere, right? And along the way, I would tell everybody, you should be hiring coaches each and every year. There should be a budget you're allocating to your self-development. I say it in a different way. I say, what is your info diet? What are you into your own thought processes, psyche that can help you get to the next place? What are the things that you're learning that are new, that are not on YouTube University, that are not on just a podcast platform that you can start to practice each and every day in repetition? But yeah, I am a part of several different masterminds that I know you are a part of, a couple that I'm a part of. And then I have a budget for a coach each and every year.
I pull so much information from that. I think you're up to 480 something episodes over the last 10 years. Great place to get information. And then at that, the simple question is, what is the one thing that if you had one choice to point somebody in the right direction today, what would that answer be to that question of what is the best thing to change and as you're getting started?
Yeah, listen, I mean, we brought up coaching. Yeah, there's a financial investment in having someone hold your hand, coach you, give you the proven path. Coaching is different than a product, than a course, than videos, right? Coaching is that. Coaching, right? And so I'd tell anyone, if you're serious, get out of your own way, right? Don't look at it as a cost. It is an investment. Get a coach. It doesn't have to be me. I would love for everyone listening to this and watching this to come into my world, be a part of the science of flipping, invest in our coaching, in our leadership, in our community. I would love that. But if it's not me, make sure you are getting coached, because like I just said, there's levels, right? Meaning if you're just starting, don't just try to figure it out. Be serious about it. Even if you have a W-2 job, it doesn't mean you're not serious serious just because you can't do it full time. Be serious about it. Take the time that you do have and don't take it for granted. Be serious about the things you're doing. So I would encourage everybody that you should be getting coached. Don't buy a product, don't buy a course, be getting coached. Because otherwise, what I have seen is the confusion of YouTube University, the confusion of podcasts. I'm listening to 8 different podcasts. I'm watching 22 different YouTube videos. There's no congruency. No one's holding your hand. No one's holding you accountable. There's always the newest and greatest. I've been around for 17 years, Scott. There's no new and great. It's just marketing, right? And what I would tell anybody is be watching YouTube, be listening to podcasts, but ultimately really be learning from those who have been there, done that, are continuing to practice. That's what I tell anybody. Be serious about it. Make the investment.
Make the investment in yourself, because where I was at through 08 and 2010 was looking around trying to find coaching lights the path. You know, it just turns the lights on inside of the industry to say, hey, this is successful, this isn't. It's been tested and tried. So why not learn from the person, read about it, listen to it, and simply make your path a lot easier to travel. Now, you were saying marketing. I love marketing. I don't know why. Oh, wait, I work in marketing. So is what favorite marketing tool to find inbound leads? Or is it even, do you like outbound leads? What is your preference inside of marketing?
Yeah. And so, and you know this, and you know where my answer is going is Rocketly. I created something that now is public facing, right? Just like REIPrintMail, our clients are using it. But I would also say it was built because of my need for managing inbound leads and working inbound leads with consistency, if you will, right? And so now it is turned into something its own where we're getting leads for like $4. Yes, I know you heard me correctly, because direct mail is not that. But you know, the reality is it a warm lead the same way direct mail is? No, I wouldn't say that, right? And that is why direct mail still has a stronghold within the marketplace, is because when someone calls you from a piece of mail, their motivation is so much higher. From the simple, basic point of view of, if you're watching this or listening to this, when was the last time you called the phone number on a piece of mail you got? Wait, right. I'll wait for it. Never, right? That's the answer. So if someone calls you, the investor, from a direct piece of mail, you better know that they have motivation. Doesn't mean it's a deal, but they have motivation. And that's what we're looking for. So I love Rocketly, rocketly.ai, because it brings inbound leads to me, and then I allow the AI bot to start working the lead so I don't have to build the team. That being said, I still love direct mail. I still love PPC. I still love PPL. I still love cold calling. What I want my business, and what I believe everyone should be doing, is being diverse in how you find the leads. The business is broken up into 4 parts. Find the deal, analyze the deal, exit the deal. And the 4th part is really raising private money, which allows you to either buy and hold it yourself or fix and flip it yourself. But the key of part number 1, find the deal. Direct mail, PPC, PPL, Rocketly, cold calling. I love them all because it gives me opportunities. I do a lot of agent outreach still, a lot. Ironically, is how I got my first 2 deals ever as a real estate investor, was agent outreach. And so I still do that. Investor outreach, right? Buying and wholesaling other people's deals. So I do it all. But again, when it comes to motivation, nothing beats direct mail, because you know that person has motivation to sell.
In just that thought process of having multiple channels, I speak that way to everybody. And anybody that talks to me really quickly will understand that by far the best avenue for the Generation X and above, people that don't trust the internet or even get on the internet, the boomers that own 35% of the properties out there. It's phenomenal for that. But there's a whole area that doesn't pay their bills through the mailbox anymore, that doesn't go to the mailbox. So at that point, then you want the PPC, the PPL, and it all funnels into Rocketly. And Rocketly just simply follows up and catches everything that's out there. One thing I love about Rocketly is as you create website traffic, we all sign up or start. What do you capture? 8% of the people that sign up give you all of their information, but you're able to capture a few more of those and turn those into leads. So you've created a whole new avenue of inbound lead traffic that nobody else has really tapped into, that other people are missing. Piling all of that together in one place, all of your follow-up is simply done. So you guys are going with no lead unpunished, and I love that. You guys find the most success inside of that. Talking about analyzing a property, when you first get that inbound phone call, or when you get that lead in front of you and you start to research that property, what are the steps that you go through to see if that's a deal for you?
I want to make sure that the person's motivated to sell before I care about the deal. And I know that may be kind of reverse from what a lot of people do is, hey, you know, when did you last remodel your kitchen? Or when did you do the roof? Or all the things about the home. And it's all irrelevant if the person isn't ready to sell right now. So I'm spending a lot of time spinning my wheels trying to find out about the home or if it's a deal, when in reality, this person may be calling me because in the next 4 years when their kid graduates high school, whatever the case may be. So I'm not as concerned about the home. What I am trying to figure out is, why are we on the phone, right? So if Scott, in this example, you call me, or you're a lead that comes into my Rocket, whatever, we get on the phone, I will ask a question like, hey, Scott, I just out of pure curiosity, like, why are we on the phone here? What's your interest here in having this conversation? I mean, I like that I'm having the conversation with you, Scott, but why? Why now? Right? And then they'll answer you. And usually when you ask it in a way that is not prying, but kind of like, hey, what is the point of us even having this conversation? Just curious, why spend your time to have this conversation with me? They'll answer typically pretty honestly, because it's an unassuming question. They think you're going to try to ask about like how much they want and how much they want to sell for, and when do they want to close. If you don't go that route, they start to lower their walls, and you'll start to get the real juice of like, why are they actually on the phone with you, right? That's what you really want to know. Why, right? And their answers could be all over the board.
Well, and
every time I think I've heard it all, something comes up that I haven't, but I've heard a lot.
Yeah. And where I tend to point people to is to ask those open-ended questions to get them to start talking, but ask them questions that they're not prepared for. So then you're going to actually get them start to think. And if they're thinking, they're not analyzing what they're going to say so they're going to rebuttal back with actual live answers, and then you can get them to lower their guard and know that you're not as intimidating. And because most people, when they get on that phone call, they're primed and ready to negotiate. They have a number in their head and they want to sell for this. And so that's their thought track. So let's get them off track. Let's have a closing conversation at that point. Where do you see the industry going over the next 5 years? And do you see any trends that are changing?
For me personally, again, not everyone can point to this right now, but like, I'm going to buy as much as I possibly can for the next 5 years. I think we're in a very interesting spot. I think, as Warren Buffett would say, when the tides go out, we'll see who's swimming naked. I think that's starting to happen. I think a lot of people are scared because of the interest rates, which is insane to me, because Scott, you and I are old enough I bought my first home at 6% interest, and I was excited to do it. I had no qualms with it. I didn't care. That was the interest rate. I took it. Like, I didn't care. We got so accustomed to post-COVID interest rates at 2.85 and 3% that like nowadays we're talking about 6.5%, 7% interest, and people are losing their minds. Historically speaking, that number is normal. It's a good interest rate. My grandpa laughs at me because he was buying homes back in the 80s when it was at 18%, not hard money, like bank long-term financing loans were at 18%. So it's perspective. I think this is going to be a great wave to be in real estate. I think there's going to be a lot of people who get weeded out and get scared, which makes me bullish. I want everyone to be in real estate. I want you all to get into real estate, whether you're using REIPrintMail, Rocketly, wholesaling, fix and flipping, buying, it doesn't matter. You should be in real estate, and you need to act now, right? It's this age-old example of like, when's the best time to plant a tree 50 years ago? When's the next best time today? That's how you should be looking at this. I don't care if you're full-time or part-time. You need to be in real estate. Again, whether you're doing it transactionally through fix and flipping or wholesaling, or for the long-term wealth accumulation, you should be in it. That's how I'm looking at it. I'm very, very, very bullish.
What's the easiest way to find?
Easiest way to find me is at the Justin Colby on Instagram. I put out a whole ton of content, justincolby.tv. So between those two, it's a very easy way to find me. But Instagram's the best, especially if you have questions for me. If you want to ask me about marketing or direct mail or conversions or anything that we're talking about here, go to the Justin Colby, ask me questions. It really is me. I really will be answering those questions. Scott has seen me. He's hung out with me enough. It is something I'm passionate about, is helping you guys actually win and do the right thing versus doing something maybe you saw on YouTube.
Right. And then always the best for me is I'm always on to you, listening to who you're interviewing, researching the people that you're. Real quick, where can they find your podcast? Way to find that?
Yeah, the Science of Flipping podcast is on Apple, Spotify, all the platforms. I actually just posted today, Scott, or yesterday. You may have noticed it. It's actually the #2 investing podcast in the nation, just under your boy, Dave Ramsey. So Dave Ramsey, Justin Colby, I feel pretty honored. I'm actually pretty proud of it. But yeah, we are the #2 podcast in investing in the U.S. on Apple. Very excited about that. The Science of Flipping.
So. I'm looking forward to and that, sending it to a couple friends. We all need competition to grow. That's my biggest thing is how I work hard. Is if I see somebody pass me, I'm like, we'll see. and seeing that competition inside of our friendships and inside of our circle of friends around us, it just propels us to be higher, and it brings us back to coaching. I missed out on 10 years of investing because I didn't have a coach. So I highly recommend people go find somebody to like, follow, and mentor with. One of my favorite mentors, when I went in, I asked him to be my mentor. And he looked at me and goes, ask for somebody to be your mentor. You just make them your mentor. Thank you for sharing your time with me today, Justin. And in closing, the Science of Flipping podcast. Look up Justin Colby at the Justin Colby at Instagram. And we're looking forward to growing together. I can't wait to be seeing you in another month or so, and we'll get to rub elbows. I'll get to learn something else. So
no doubt. Appreciate you having me, bro.